Hey guys, welcome back to the All In Entrepreneurs podcast. This is episode 10, and today you definitely want to stick around because on today's episode we have the biggest, the baddest real estate guru in the game, Mr. Clever Investor himself, Cody Sperber, baby.
You forgot sexiest.
The sexiest. Cody, sexiest.
Let's go.
Sperber. And guess what?
Oh, man.
Guess what? I think it's been like 3 years coming, but I am finally going to put the biggest guru who I used to hunt down.
You used to talk mad shit.
Every event from the stage. I'm putting him on a hot seat today, and I am very excited about that. So, Mr. Cody Sperber, Senor, welcome. I actually have a whole agenda for you. You're going to love it, okay?
Yep.
Man.
Hit me with all. I mean, look, let's get real. Let's get raw. I heard you talking shit.
No, you didn't hear me. You heard it from
Well,
others.
that's true. As soon as it left your lips, I heard. I got about 15
You got too
texts.
many moles. You have too many moles
I got
in the
plants
game.
in this industry.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, you know, I created a lot of the.
You
a lot of
were the pioneer
wholesalers.
of.
One of them.
Yeah,
I
would
wasn't
say.
the pioneer.
One
I
of
was
them
just
for sure.
The best marketer. Yeah.
You definitely spent the most, and you were everywhere. So that makes you.
It
the
was
best
good though
marketers.
because I had a lot of healthy, really good competition with guys like Sean Terry pushing. You know, like we just pushed each other. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I just got out there.
But it appears that Sean kind of went off into the sunset for a little while, and you just kept
Is
churning
he
and burning.
smart or am I smart? I don't know. You know, I love.
You wear
Sean.
glasses. You're smart.
I look smart.
You look
I
smart.
look smart. You know, yeah. I had a vision of what we were going to do with the real estate education side of the business, and it, you know, it was a good ride. It's still a good ride. It's a great ride. I wanted to be a teacher though, you know, so it's in me from.
You look like a teacher.
Well,
you look like a substitute though.
You know what I do when, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm a little nerdy, but you know, like if I binge watch YouTube, it's either magic stuff.
midget porn.
Not midget, magic.
Oh.
Magic.
Okay.
Or it's like history stuff.
Okay.
I like nerd out on the history stuff.
Same.
You know, I want to understand.
Have you watched World War II in color?
Dude, 15 times.
Okay. All right. So you're. I love.
I'm
this.
in it. I'm in it.
So you like to watch movies like Troy and
I just rewatched that.
Gladiator, right, and all those movies. So
Yeah, but if you would have said, what do you want to do as a little kid when you grow up? I would have said history teacher.
really,
I
that's
think
actually
so,
one of
yeah.
my questions, by the way.
It was either that or marine biology, but I'm from Arizona. We don't have oceans. And when
You go
I
to
joined the
Cabo, right?
military, I didn't think it through.
Mm-hmm.
And so I joined the Navy following my dad's footsteps, and then I get violently seasick.
Okay.
So the whole thing about being on a ship
Mm-hmm.
and being a marine biologist for a career wasn't going to work.
I want to get into that, by the way, and we will. I have a whole lineup for you, brother. This is the hot seat with Cody Sperber. You ready? All right. So for those who have been living under a rock, okay, how long have you been in the game, real estate investment wise and education wise?
2002, 2003 is when I started getting turned on to wholesaling.
Mm-hmm.
Wholesaling's been around for a long time. You know, I didn't invent it. The people who taught me didn't invent it. You know, it's been around for a long time. But there was a friend of mine named Jeremy flipped a house and made $80,000.
Wholesale?
Wholesale.
Jesus.
Huge wholesale.
Beautiful.
And he had a mortgage broker friend that turned him onto it. And I went to lunch with Jeremy, and he penciled it out on a napkin. And that's how I discovered creative real estate investing. And it blew my mind because, you know, back then there wasn't podcasts, there wasn't a Carlos, you know,
Social
putting out all this
media,
content
with
on
his
social.
chains and his Rolls Royce. I know.
Looking all bougie and buff.
I know.
You look you do. What happened to you? Why are you looking so skinny?
Well, one of my personal
You juicing
development-
or something?
I got off of it. One of my personal development coaches is here, and it took me 6 months to really, she used to preach, mind, body, spirit, and how the body is a symptom and, not the cause. And, I have to align. And she started with me in October of 2020. And I actually didn't start taking that whole physical side of things serious until about March or April. And once I did, man, like in 3 months, I was able to just change my entire life around when it came to like food choices and food selections.
Which, I mean, is really impressive because I did 75 hard. And and I really tried to like bulk up and cut at the same time, and it was brutal. And I'm watching you just melt fat away, and you're looking. I mean, you're hitting it. You're getting.
Thank you.
You look great, dude.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I mean, the shirt's a little schmedium right now.
No,
you gotta
this
get
is. I just got this actually. If you want, let me put these on. If you want the plug. I got my special.
You got the boss plug.
The boss plug,
dude. I've never seen anybody rock. They should sponsor you.
They actually are starting to.
Yeah,
no, they are.
Chase Banks should sponsor me.
Oh God, you're everywhere on Chase. Your ads are still haunting me. But back to you. Anybody out there that's been living under a rock for 12 years? Because guess what? At least my generation, which I started in this game 2013, 2014. I didn't really get going to 2014. You know, I used to watch you on Periscope. You know, I used to have a job, and I used to, you know, be working, and then I'd be like, hey, can you handle this for me? I got to go and watch this, right? So I'd get back there on Periscope, and there you are, man, just on your whiteboard explaining the process of real estate wholesaling at that time. And it was crazy. Like back then, you know, the only people that I could actually tune into that were giving out a lot of free game was you, Sean Terry, and a guy named Nick Reyes, which you probably don't even know.
I know Nick. I know of Nick. Look, but when I started, there wasn't any of that, so it was hard to learn this business. You had to get on, you know, look in a newspaper, find a guru that was going.
It was hard. It was hard when I got into the business in 2013, 2014, because again. It was the birth of the online stuff. You know what I mean?
It was just starting.
Yeah.
But I had to get on a plane, fly, like go to seminars, and then, you know, pull out my credit card and run to the front of the stage or the back of the room and like try and like buy boot camps and bus tours. And I always created a habit of spending money for knowledge. So I would walk out like because back then it was literally 3-ring binders full of documents and printouts
from the boot
CDs,
camps and the seminars,
and even some tapes, which is weird. But I would have 2-3 bags full of stuff. And some of the seminars, they were just massive pitch fests where like literally like 25 experts would come through, and I'd buy all 25 courses because I was so obsessed with this idea of getting wealthy in real estate and doing it in a creative way. I had all this time, all this hustle, and
just not the knowledge.
Not the knowledge, and no successful people around me that I had access to be able to be like, you know, mentor me or show me what to do. And so I was on my own, and I never wanted other people to go through that. So the education thing came naturally to me after I started getting good. So that first year sucked.
Really?
It was brutal. It was really brutal. I didn't do any deals for a year.
Damn.
Lots of close deals. Lots of connecting this person to this person. They would do a deal and they'd say they cut me in, then they'd cut me out.
They wouldn't cut you in. Yeah.
A lot of there was this guy named Troy who ran this company called Cutting Deals, and I remember I came to his office, and he, you know, thinking, oh, I'm gonna get the CEO of this wholesaling operation to talk to me, and they left me in the waiting room.
Damn.
You know, like shit like that.
Do you hold grudges?
You know. Like any person, I take offense to it. You know, I got ego.
When you're disrespected?
Yeah, but I used it as motivation to dominate.
Fire.
Yeah, I like it made me want to dominate. And, you know, ultimately you learn through relationships in this business that you have to play one of two games. You either go for the quick money game where you just cut, you're cutting deals. You're Troy. Where you're literally screwing anybody over to get to the bag as fast as you can. That's one way of doing business. There's lots of people in this real estate game that don't last. No. They're in and out. They burn bridges. They screw lenders. They have bad reputations. I took the other route. I was like, you know what? I'm going to play the long game. And I'm going to try, no matter how bad a deal gets, I'm going to stick in there. My partners are going to see my character. And it took longer, because I was a little too nice in the beginning, and I had to learn how to be a tougher real estate investor. But all those experiences got me there, and I watched the Troys come and go. Yeah, dude ended up in jail, meth addict, divorced, bankrupt. Yep. You know, and so you just kind of like smile and just like, I'm playing the right game. Okay. I was like, you're not smiling because he became a meth head. And I don't give a shit about Troy.
And
You left me in the fucking waiting room. Carlos, come on. You were I didn't even leave you in the waiting room. You were gunning for me.
I had to. You were the biggest dude. You were the biggest dude. And listen, hold on. Well, I can't wait to get there, right? But, okay, back to Troy, right?
Yep.
I asked you if you hold grudges. And
I do and I don't. I do and I don't. I use it. I didn't throw a pity party when he went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what I'm saying.
So you didn't put money in his books. You didn't put money in his books so he can eat, right?
But honestly, I didn't pay much attention to any of that. It just, you use those moments where your back's against the wall. Like, I've been an underdog my whole life.
Okay.
I like that position. I like my back against the wall. I like when people are kind of being a little condescending to me, kind of checking me, because it reminds me what I need to do to be the version of myself that I want to be. And I like competition. I think competition is very healthy. That's why I said I like that a guy named Sean Terry was even in my peripherals, because it forced me to think about the content I was putting together and the way I was doing deals and all the the reason I became the clever investor and such a gangster at creative real estate is because I had all this healthy competition around me that was beating me at just being better at sales or influence or negotiation. And so I had to be more clever, more creative to get to the lead first, or when I sat down with the seller to build that relationship faster. And I had to sharpen those skills. So I like it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that you love it. No. Let me just say this. Before you got here, I told my crew, and we all agreed, we were like, don't you guys just love Cody's ego? And they were like, yeah. And then Danny said, I love how you get along. Like, I feed off of your energy and your ego, and you're a badass because, you're an alpha male. I consider myself an alpha male, and I'm a confident person, and I love being around other confident people as long as they're good people. You know what I mean? As long as they're not looking to take a crap on the next person that's right next to them. I love feeding off your energy. Like, it doesn't intimidate me. You know what I mean? I love that. Well, I love that about you.
I think there's a point in a person's evolution where they start to become a real leader. And it's hard to be a leader. It's hard to be the first person to clap for your friends when they're being successful. Because a lot of times when people are raising their intention and their enthusiasm like you do on a daily basis, the people around you, if they're not doing that, you're reminding them of their shortcomings. You're putting a big fat mirror in front of them saying, look at yourself and what you're not doing. Yeah. And so when you get a bunch of leaders around each other and we're all celebrating each other,
more energy.
It's more energy.
Better energy. More impactful.
Not everybody's like that, though.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of ego in the game.
Well, I mean, look at social media. It's a problem, We're actually at war.
Yeah.
From many different fronts, and it's tough when you're in a business where there's a lot of money and a lot of ego.
Time limit, just ignore that limit. I have a hour. We're going live also on Instagram, and this is a live show, right? And I do an hour, and it just Instagram disconnects for me. I limit myself to an hour a day on social media.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so once I hit that hour,
we're talking about.
Well, right.
You're protecting your peace.
I'm trying.
That's good.
Oh, we're gonna get into that also. So see, you're way. I got some fire for you. Let me start with this. You're on the hot seat, my friend. Ready? First and foremost, why do people? I started making a lot of noise in 2018. This was it's going to be about almost 4 years. Started making a lot of noise. I figured out the sauce. Spent millions of dollars figuring out all this marketing crap and, the building up an infrastructure and a company and consumer brand and, making myself marketable and retail and all that stuff. And once we figured it out, we spent all the millions of dollars just falling on our face and figuring some things out with all the marketing channels. Through my first event, it was called Momentum. And everybody paid $5,000 a seat to be there, right? Pace Morby, Ryan Pineda, Donovan Ruffin, all the gurus out there now paid to be at that event. That was the first time. Yes, I think that had to be the first time that I I didn't personally disrespect you, but I put you in that guru category, right? And I can tell you this, there was a stigma, and I wouldn't call it a stigma. There was people out there just hating on you. I was one of them. I was hating on you because I wanted to be that. I wanted to be that person. Like I wanted to be that big, you know, like as big as you were. Think about it. I'm a Mexican dude who just figured out how to make a bunch of money, and you know, it's my first event. You know, I have no videographers. I'm not selling mentorships. I don't even have a course. I'm like, you want the sauce? $5,000. Get over here, right?
Yep.
And they paid it. They paid it, right? And they're like, what the hell? This dude's not even selling a $50,000 mentorship after this, right? He's just giving me the sauce, right? Everything. I was gunning for you. And I'll say this, there was people, at least hey man, when I finally met you in person, I looked at you in the eyes and I'm like, I said two things. One, I said, Cody, you are pretty damn good looking. That was the first thing I said. And then I said, you're a pretty good looking guy. No, I didn't say that. Listen, I just said, hey, brother, I just want to let you know that, you know.
The creepy thing about it is you were actually behind me whispering into my ear. That's the part that tripped me out.
Was I?
I'm used to this.
It was your old office, and you had like this beautiful studio, and me and Sal went in there, and you were giving us all kinds of game. And then I just looked at you and said, hey, man, I just want to let you know, brother, as a man, you know, I'm sorry for ever disrespecting you, forever talking shit about you, you know. And I think that was that. Like after that, man, like
that was the moment that I knew you were a stand-up guy.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, it takes a lot to.
It didn't take me a lot.
Well, I mean, it
takes a lot of people a lot because of the pride and ego and like, you know.
I really I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
You know, and it wouldn't have changed anything though, because I still would have supported and helped in any way, even if you never said it. It just made me like you that much more. But look, when I started, there was people that were really successful that I was hating on.
You were gunning for him.
And there's a lot of reasons why. One, it's good to have somebody that you're aiming for, right? Like an inspirational, like
the mountain you're climbing.
No matter which way you take it, you can either say, oh, they're so inspirational, I want to be like them, or screw them, I'm going to be better than them.
Boom.
But for me, it's for a couple reasons. One, lack of information. We never met before that. You just watched me.
I saw you everywhere, and
you know, and my marketing style is very aggressive. Depending on what you see and how you get trapped in my web.
Aggressive, Lamborghinis, checks, lifestyle,
big money.
It was crazy. You were and I don't know if anybody else in the real estate education space, everybody's doing it now, right? Like everybody followed suit, but who was out there? Like you were the only one with a white Lamborghini, a green Lamborghini, whatever, right? And you're on a Lamborghini, we got a flame.
And every single person told me, don't get the Lamborghini. You know, don't put that out there like that.
Don't be a douchebag.
Don't be a douchebag. People are gonna judge you and think. And I was like, look, you know, people's attention span's very short. You got to make a spectacle. And I believed in the education that we were providing so much. I believed in the message. I needed to get people's attention to get there. Okay, this guy's crazy. He's consistent. He's got all. It's not rented, and you know you could tell it wasn't rented. And a car. A lot of people rent a car, and that's.
Well, most of your plates said clever on it, so
or investor or whatever.
Exactly.
You know, I was just showing like, look, this is me. This is my lifestyle. This is what I'm doing. This is how I got there. Because I knew on the other end of that, it challenged their perception of what's possible. Because I was a fucking bozo, bro. Like before I got into real estate, I was, you know, very unambitious. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was going to college. When the real estate thing, the first year didn't work out, I got a job as a bookkeeper, $34,000 a year.
Jesus.
No path. Like I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. Like nothing hit. And I was doing drugs, selling drugs, you know, all through high school, getting C's and D's. What was I going to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How was I going to get rich?
Yeah.
You know, and I was lucky enough to go in the Navy, which shifted my perception about myself. It gave me self-worth and efficacy and confidence. So I got that, but then now I needed a way to make a lot of money. And I went and talked to the history professor, and they were like, we have 2 jobs just to pay our bills. And I'm like, damn, that's rough. Like that's not what I want for my life. And then real estate changed everything. And look what it did for me and my family. Went from all that to anything you want at any time, whenever, with whomever, Total
However,
freedom. Yeah, total freedom. And so I believed in it. And I believe that somebody can go from the rags to the riches through creative real estate. So hell yeah, get the Lambos, get the flamethrowers, get the cameras, beat the drum, get my kid. I started putting my kids, my kid in my first ad was the best performing ad. It went viral, did 22 million views. Went viral.
What was it on Facebook?
On YouTube.
Okay.
On YouTube. And so, and then a lady wrote an article on USA Today about real estate guru's kid steals the show. He wasn't even supposed to be in the ad.
That's amazing.
I was just doing an ad, and he just rolled into the shot and started mirroring and mimicking.
He's a natural, though.
He's a natural, and so it was like the light bulb went off. I was like, put everybody in the ads. Get the whole family.
You got super creative with some of those ads. Remember, like when you're dressed in different ways and in a spacesuit or I don't know what you had going on, but you and him got super creative. You and your son.
Dude, video needs to be a core competency if you're going to be a marketer. I mean, look. This is what I do. I'm a direct response marketer in the real estate space. Boom. Right? Real estate's the foundation. You asked, are you even doing
No, hold on. You see, I got questions for all of that.
Well, hit me with the real estate questions, but like my thing, if you were to say what's your secret core competency, I'd say direct response marketing, copywriting, and being great on video. 15 years ago when I first started putting myself out there, the worst. Literally fumbling over myself, not knowing what to say, palm sweating, armpit. Like it's funny, my video team always makes fun of me. My right armpit just sweats all the time.
Profusely.
So you'll see me every once in a while in the studio with a blow dryer. Like, it's just like I get nervous just like everybody else, but through repetition, building that muscle and just screwing up royally on stage or screwing up royally on a video. I mean, so embarrassed that that's out there and you can't sleep at night that you wake up the next day and you're like, I got to get better at this. I got to get better. I got to get that conversation down. And thank God for Periscope and Instagram Live and all that, because now when people
you're a savage.
When people hear me, they're like, dude, he's so good.
He's been doing it.
I did 10,000 lives.
Yeah. I get you. The next question is this, man. For anybody out there that doesn't know, who you are and where you come from, give us a brief background story of your upbringing. I mean, were you like a homeless white kid or like a rich, privileged, entitled brat, right? Like,
yeah, I wish.
Which one? What was it? Were you in the middle somewhere?
That's my biggest challenge now is my kids live in luxury and I'm trying to like battle that. That's my burden and mission to grow up unentitled, non-spoiled little kids. But no, my great parents, phenomenal parents. But we had our own bullshit, like every family. My dad worked about every 2 years. He would get fired from his job. We moved from state to state. I was constantly in a position. By the time I was 12 years old, I probably moved 7, 8, 9 times. So I was in a constant like building new friends, losing friends, building new friends, losing friends. And I was really little. I was just like my son right now. And it's funny, God gives you these missions and these lessons that you have to go through that are almost like a mirror to yourself. And it brings out like the worst in you that needs to become the best in you. And for me, raising my son's the hardest thing I ever did because he's literally me. Yeah. Who is... I'm difficult to be married to. I'm difficult to have, work with, all of it. And so he's very challenging, very smart, very hyper, and very immature, all rolled up into one. They call him gifted nowadays, right? They got a name for it. He's gifted, but that doesn't mean like he's like great at math or something like that. It just means that he's a pain in the ass. And so I was that kid growing up, so I would get sidelined, pushed around, bullied by a lot of people because I was a smart ass. And they wouldn't like that. Like I was good at making friends and I was also really good at burning bridges. So I was constantly like on my own, like trying to like reinvent myself every time we moved. And some fucked up shit happened with the family, parents cheating on each other. My mom, one of the times my parents separated, and by the way, the end of the story, my parents are together. My mom and dad still are together. It's crazy how many times were out and then back in. But, and I don't tell a lot of people this, but like my one day I'm at my mom's apartment right? I live with her part of the time, with my dad part of the time. There's this lady hanging out there the whole freaking time. And I'm like, after like 4 months of this lady being around, I'm like, dude, what's with this lady? It's my mom's girlfriend.
Damn.
I had no idea my mom was a bisexual, lesbian. You know, I'm like,
you thought that was
and
a
I'm
roommate?
I'm like 11, you know, trying to like process like what the fuck is going on. And then, you know, it dawned on me. I'm like, oh, that's your girlfriend. Like, you guys are dating. And she really never talked to me about it. It was just kind of a thing that happened. And it was like maybe one conversation. And then like 4 months later, lady was gone and we're moving back in with your dad.
With dad.
And they never once said a single word to me.
Like
literally, like it never happened. So like being a little kid, that fucks you up.
Yeah.
Right? So like when you think
like,
about
are we just gonna
entrepreneurs,
ignore that?
I'm only bringing this up because I want people to know like every single successful entrepreneur I know, all of them are effed up in some way. Some childhood stuff, you coming across the border, living in extreme poverty, feeling so much uncertainty and never feeling safe, and you know, not knowing what's coming next. And how are you? You know, you told me one time like you guys showered like in a bucket or a creek or something. Yeah, like that's like, to me, I never had to deal with any of that. I had a great parents, great family.
But my mom wasn't a lesbian.
I was very lower middle class, like very lower, like rentals. My grandparents lived with us for a lot of time. My grandparents were very religious. My grandparents talked to me in tongues more than they talk to me normally, like hardcore snake handling religious. So like I'm just like a little kid trying to navigate moving, and the emotional stuff of your parents. But my dad always did really good things for me. Like, Dad, I want a new bike. No, but I'll show you how to create the money to get it.
Oh, wow.
And it was, my dad was an entrepreneur back then. Yeah. So it was like, or I'll loan you $40. You sign this contract with me, a loan he would draw it up on a paper, loan contract, and you have to pay me back with interest by this time. So little lessons kind of giving me those skills. And he did.
Planting seeds.
I sold candy. I wanted a scooter. I sold candy. Until I got the scooter.
Did you ever sell candy in those white vans that would pick you up and not in door knock?
No.
I did that.
Oh, like literally the candy bar where you went door to door?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, so
some creepy guy I didn't know were just, friends would tell friends. All the poor kids would tell the poor kids, hey, man, you want to make some money today? I'm like, damn, okay, what do you got going on, right?
Slanging candy bars?
He's like, man, this dude's going to pick us up, man, and we're going to go the turtle, whatever it was, and we're going to go sling this chocolate, man, in these boxes, and you get to keep 50% of it.
They were always hitting us up in our neighborhood.
Yeah. We would go to the rich neighborhood, so.
Oh, well, maybe it wasn't you in my neighborhood. You were smart. You went to the rich
We went to the rich neighborhood.
That wasn't my neighborhood. But, he would give me a loan. I'd go buy candy at the whatever the Costco was back then. And, and then I'd sell the candy, give him back his loan. And eventually I made enough to buy my own candy, then buy my own scooter. Had the scooter about 2 weeks before my mom said the day before it happened, don't leave your scooter out front. What do you think happened?
They stole it.
They stole my fucking scooter after I worked all that time. Yeah, so...
Was it a lesbian that stole it? Joking.
She jacked the scooter.
Oh, by the way, hold on. We love the LG. I don't want them to Dave Chappelle me in any way.
Bro,
what is it called?
You're gonna get canceled. So I'm lucky. I can talk shit. I'm above being canceled.
Oh, all right.
At this point, you can't cancel somebody that's above the clouds.
Yeah, they can't cancel Dave Chappelle. They're trying, but go ahead.
So yeah, he did a lot of cool stuff like that. So that was my childhood. I unfortunately, because of all of it, and just I had a lot of freedoms. My parents were never really controlling. They let me figure out my own way, and it's one of the things I worry about my kids, because I'm very like kids don't go for long bike rides on their own, or just go break stuff and steal stuff and do all the dumb shit.
They're very sheltered now.
They're very sheltered. It's like, okay, we're gonna go trick or treating at church in a very safe
and I'm going with you.
Yeah. And so it's I just had all this freedom, which I got into a lot of trouble. I started smoking weed when I was in 7th grade. I started selling it in the 8th grade. Weed was much better money than candy.
Was that your first? I was going to ask you, what was your first entrepreneur venture? Was that your first entrepreneur?
No, candy was my first. And then when I was, I think about 10 or 11, I was I hopped a fence and I was walking down this alley in between a residential area and this little commercial building. And there was a door open in the back, and there was a guy sitting back there smoking. He had an apron on, and I could smell the Italian food coming from the door. And there was this little Italian restaurant in there. And I was walking by there, and I started talking to this guy for some reason because he was on his little smoke break. And I said, "How's your day going?" He goes, "It'd be a lot better if I'd have to wash all these dishes." And I'm like, "Bro, I got you. How much are you going to pay me if I wash the dishes?" So that was actually my first under-the-table real job.
Beautiful.
Where every day I would show up for 2 hours a day washing dishes. And I was so little, they had this massive pot that they would literally that they would make sauce in every day. And they put me in the pot.
You would jump
and I'd
in there.
scrub
Yep.
in the pot, the
Yep.
whole thing. So, like, that was my first like job where I felt like I was going to work.
Yeah.
Right. But then I started selling weed, and I was like, fuck this job.
Oh.
Weed's way better. Then I started selling ecstasy and acid, and it just spiraled.
Jesus Christ.
And it used to be have a skateboard, and I'd skateboard around town and be, delivery.
Did you have like a little backpack?
I had a backpack on and a skateboard.
Amazing.
Big
So you were
baggy
doing
pants. I look like a little raver kid.
You were like Uber Eats before Uber Eats, right? Like you were like Uber weed,
There you go.
right? That's crazy.
And then I got smart, though. Like, when I was in high school, I was like, man, fuck skateboarding to people. They got to come to me. So then I got a job at Burger King.
Here we go.
And I was selling weed to the manager of Burger King. So I'm like, look, put me in the drive-thru.
Oh.
Put somebody else in the drive-thru so they can actually do all the work. And all my customers will just come through the drive-thru. And if they ordered a certain Whopper, run it through the machine 2 times extra crispy with extra pickles, I knew they wanted a quarter sack.
Wow.
So
there was code.
There was code. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they had to order the right thing. Otherwise, I'm going to be just offering everybody weed in the drive-thru. So,
So hold on.
and I never got caught. That was sorry, Burger King. I never got caught.
What is that called?
Thank
Statute
God.
of limitations. You're safe. You're fine.
It was just
10
some weed.
years.
It was just some weed.
Yeah.
But
Plus, it made them eat more, and they would come back and buy more food.
And then for me, in high school, everybody told me, go to college, go to college, go to college. I was like, fine, I'll go to college. Although every cell in my body was like, fuck college. I already hated school, hated school, don't want to go to college. But
you wanted to be part of the cartel.
Well, no, I honestly, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. I was just unambitious, floating. But I knew college was not something I wanted to do. I enrolled at community college. I went for 1 hour. I literally walked onto campus with my backpack, went into the classroom, unpacked everything, packed everything, walked out, and never went back. I didn't cancel properly. I just ghosted.
So you got like an F.
I got a full-blown F.
Yeah.
F. And it's funny because then I ended up a few months later going into the military. And that changed everything for me because I got plucked out of this environment where all my friends were smoking weed, all my friends were partying, all my friends were kind of being bozos, to now structure, system,
Discipline,
fitness, eating better. Like, all of that started happening, and I grew up, and I can't even stress it enough how grateful I am that I made that decision for my life.
Well, you were a seaman.
I was a seaman. I was a seaman recruit.
We won't get into that.
That's an inside joke.
Yeah. We won't.
Yeah, but it was that's it. That's the background. And you talk to other entrepreneurs and they all got fucked up shit going down. They were either hustlers or they have really rough childhood, and they look at that and they have this internal ambition and drive that just boils up because they want control. If you strip away all the desire of money and cars and jets and lifestyle, it really is control.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So real estate investing wise, how long have you been doing that? Real estate education, how long have you been doing that?
I started Clever in 2000. I started working on Clever in 2009. I officially launched it in 2010.
Okay.
That's when it started. But I started training people.
What about wholesaling? Like, when did you?
2003.
You started doing deals in like 03.
The end of 03.
So you were
it took me a year, right? I started in 03. It was really probably 03, 04, somewhere in that time where I finally started doing my deals. But I had a mentor.
Yeah. Well, hold on. This is important because a lot of people out there, especially now, right? Like now it's wholesaling, e-com, crypto. What else do the kids have going on these days? There's one more thing. NFTs, right? Amazon. Yeah, that's e-com, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the kids have going on these days. And all these kids and all these young entrepreneurs, it's instant gratification, right? Instant gratification.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You said I started in 03 in the beginning, and I didn't get my deal until the end of 03, right?
Maybe even the beginning of 04. It's something like
Isn't
it's right
that,
around there.
Isn't that a very common story for like a lot of like, for me, 6 months, 2,400 bandit signs, you know, Maryville, West Phoenix, I made $5,000 on my first deal. You know what I mean? Isn't that a very common story in the game of real estate, that it takes time? It takes it. People think, because you know what's going on out there, right? Oh man, I'm slinging e-com. I'm going to get rich tomorrow, right? Yeah. I'm doing crypto. Oh man, look, have you seen that? You know, I'm up 6,000, right? So people out there still think that the game of real estate works the same way, that they can come in today as a real estate wholesaler, print out some business cards or whatever they do, and then like 2 weeks they're into their first deal and they just made 100K. Tell us about your first deal and tell them how wrong they are, that doesn't really exist.
Yeah, I will say this. The fact that we have technology, data, all this access to information, skip tracing, like the systems like you have, like it condenses the time, and I think you could get there a lot faster. Back then, it was a lot of hand-to-hand combat, very hard. It was very difficult to get data. Title companies had a little bit. There wasn't a lot of like online data sources. That didn't really exist. And so it just, a lot of it was relationship driven and just
hustle.
Just being out in the field a lot. Yep. Dude, we didn't even have like a lot of this. We didn't have any of this. We didn't have any of this smart technology.
I don't think we even had flip phones back when you started.
No, I think it was a Motorola. No, I think I had a Motorola Razor or something.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't remember the time.
Maybe you had the what is that called? Because you were a drug dealer, so you probably had the BlackBerry. You were. I'm joking.
And so it was tough. My first deal, like I said, took me 9 months. Didn't happen. Quit the business. 4 months as a bookkeeper. Finally got back in. Then went to an event. Found a mentor. Paid for the mentor. 2 months working with the mentor. Finally popped my first big deal. So it took me, I mean, but that's over a year of trying. A lot of emotional roller coaster stuff going on because, you know, the voices get loud as time goes on.
Which voices?
Your self-limiting beliefs.
What were some of the voices that you had going on at that time?
I had all of them, but my biggest, loudest one was, Cody, you look too young. Nobody's going to take you seriously. That was my personal demon of being judged because I always looked young my whole life. So I was in 9th grade. I looked like I was in 7th. Yeah. You know, nobody wants to fuck the fucking kid that looks like he's 7 in 7th grade. You know, it's like that. That's that feeling of being that little kid of like, fuck, I want to be accepted. Yeah. Like I walked up to one of the first things I did when I got in the business. I met this investor and he said, "You're going to go knock doors." And I said, okay, I've never knocked a door before. And he's like, don't worry about it. It's easy. Here's some leave behinds. Here's some addresses. Go up to the house. They're in foreclosure. Foreclosure's like a week or two away. Yep. Tell them that we can stop their foreclosure and save their house. Yep. So here I am. I got these, like, they call them leave behinds. I got these leave behinds in my hand. I'm walking up to the door. I have a piece of shit Nissan pickup truck right behind me. I'm nervous as can be. I don't know what to say. I don't know what I'm doing. In my voice, I'm like, you look like you're 10. You look like you're 10. You look like you're 10. You don't actually have money. What the fuck are you doing? And I'm walking up to the door, and I see the lady peeking through the blinds. And all of that, her eyes judged me. That's how I felt. Like, she knows I'm bullshit. I'm fake. Yep. Right?
What does he want?
What does he? Oh, not what he wants. Get the fuck off my property because you're the
crazy,
you're the
right?
90th person today that's come to my door telling me the same shit. And so I'm walking up and I got these papers and they're shaking like a leaf. And then right before I get up to knock on the door, she swings it open and she says the worst thing that anybody could ever say to me with my self-limiting belief. Hey, kid, get the fuck off my property. Come back with your dad when you can really help me. Boom, slams the door. Ask Shannon this. This is a true story. I left, dropped my shit, ran back to my truck, and I cried in the truck, could not pull away. I had so much anxiety because it was like all my fears. The fears. Like, fuck, dude, she just stabbed me in the heart. Yeah. And I'm thinking.
And this is your first real attempt.
At door knocking. And I'm thinking, why the fuck? would anybody ever do this business? This is the worst business ever. I don't care how rich you can get. This is not the way to do it.
It's the hardest.
It's the hardest. And I came home and I told Shannon, I'm never going out back door knocking. There has to be another way. I'm never doing that again. And what does any good woman do? She lets me cry and sulk and complain and talk to myself and all that stuff. And then the next day she's like, you need to go back. You need to go back. And
Thank God.
She kept pushing. And by like the third or fourth day, I'm like, fine, I'm going to go back. And just to, kind of round the story up.
Wait, you went back to the same lady?
No.
Oh.
I went back out door knocking.
Okay.
I went and got my dad.
Do you still? Yeah, right. Do you still have nightmares?
How great would that story be if I went and actually got my dad
and I got the deal? Yeah. Do you still have nightmares of this lady?
No. I'm grateful for her.
What does she look like? Do you remember what she looks like?
I don't.
Okay, well, that's a good thing.
No, I'm just grateful for that experience, because it reminded me that you could do hard things, and that nobody's gonna like a lot of people have a fear of talking on the phones. Nobody's gonna reach through the phone and smack you. So I went back out and I knocked on a door. They were very nice to me. Told me no. I went to another door, knocked on it. They were very nice to me. Told me no. And then when I was sitting in my truck, this old guy came up, went up to the door, and knocked on it. And then next thing you know, he disappeared inside. And then all of a sudden, 20 minutes later, I waited for him because I wanted to know what he said to get in there. 25 minutes later, a mobile notary pulled up, and he got the deal right then and there. And then 15 minutes later, he came out, shook the lady's hand, and walked out. And I went and grabbed him, and I'm like, dude.
How did you do that?
What did you do?
Yeah.
His name was Walt, and he was a door-to-door salesman for 40 years.
Okay.
You think Walt knows something about knocking doors?
Yeah.
Do you think he knows how to overcome an objection or two?
Absolutely.
That was Walt. And so I was like, you got to teach me how to overcome these objections. And he
Legend.
And he just said, I'll put you to work. You can be part of my door. You bring the deals to
my
me.
door knocking team.
Yeah.
Right?
And so one way or another, you're going to pay for a mentor,
Mm-hmm.
one way or another, whether it's working for that person or just cutting them a check.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Fears.
Shout out to Walt.
Shout out to Walt. Shout out to getting the fuck back up and having a bounce back spirit.
Yes, sir. And that's why you need people like Walt around you. You know, it's like. So.
Well, this business is tough. Like, back to your point is it's not easy. And if everybody has this short-sighted, what's in it for me, I'm entitled, it should be easier, it's not happening on my time frame mentality, this business isn't for you. Boom. It's just not.
This is, like you said earlier, you're in this for the long haul, right?
I'm trying to make hundreds of millions of dollars.
This is a marathon.
I'm not worried about $10,000 wholesale.
You're not in for the hit and run.
No. And if you're leaning over the cliff because you have to pay your credit card bill, then, get a second job. Do something. Do whatever you got to do to keep this real estate dream alive. But don't self-sabotage the dream because it's not happening on your time frame.
Brings me to my next question, by the way. You've been on both sides, and you're still actively on both sides, right? What have you seen in your decade plus of experience and being in the industry on both sides, education and on the investment side? You've seen people come and go, right? Like, what have you seen happen that it just kind of like what you mentioned earlier about Troy or whatever, right? Like they come in, they burn a bunch of bridges, take advantage of a lot of people, and then they're out, right? Like you've seen people come and go on both sides, investment and education. Yeah. What is it? What is the biggest thing that works against them?
On the education side of things, they're just a bunch of copycats, and they default to the lamest form of marketing, which is you don't have to do any work. It's super easy. Push a button, make millions. And to me, that just shows when people start marketing like that, I'm like, you're a fucking bozo marketer. Like you're not putting in the love and energy to master that craft. And so those ones don't stand the test of time because they overpromise, underdeliver, get bad reviews, and then people smarten up and eventually. And that's why this industry, I loved your title of our podcast because it's like the guru in the hot seat. Cool. Guru's got a bad rap, right? Nobody wants to be a guru in the real estate space because there's a lot of scam artists and bullshit going on out there. And there's people that are rightfully skeptical because they've been taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. So the ones that I like now, right now, I really like what Pace Morby's doing. energy, right? Like love, energy, community. And he's putting in the work to build that bond and love within the community that's going to carry a lot of people forward. I like it when young people get in this game.
Yeah.
I'm okay if you are teaching your friends and family, like you go out and flip 10 houses and now you're teaching your friends and family how to get in the real estate game. I'm okay with it. A lot of people hate on it because they don't have like the credibility and now they're trying to make money selling a course. Like, look, more people we can inspire to get in the business, the better.
Yep.
Now, I think consumers are really smart and they're going to, that's only going to take that person so far. They're going to have to become a great marketer and really good at their craft to do like what you did. You scaled it.
Yeah.
And you scaled it because you spent millions of dollars running a real estate business and scaled that.
Yeah.
And then everybody looked at that and said, he cracked the code. How did you do it?
I went in. Yeah.
You went in, like people were paying you $5,000. That's what started my education business. And people started coming up to me saying, I'll pay you $5,000. I'll pay you $10,000. Just give me your software. Just give me your tools. How are you doing it? And I'm excited for the changes of what's happening over the next few years. I think the realtor game's changing, right? Like, I don't think consumers 10 years from now are going to pay realtors 3%, 6%. Nope. I just don't think they'll do it.
Nope.
And I think it's getting harder for realtors to defend that position with technology and speed. I think blockchain is going to really revolutionize the way data moves. And I think the people that are building like verticalizing their real estate operations are the ones that are going to win. Like I have a friend named John out of Vegas. He, like you can have a brokerage, but you can also have an insurance company. You can also have a lending company. You can
fix and
also
flip
have
operation,
a fix and flip operation. You can also, so he has all under one roof. That's the person that's going to be sellable, scalable, all of that.
Different baskets.
People that are just like, I'm going to go, my dream's to start a brokerage. I'm like, dude, that's an uphill battle right now.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that?
That's
a dying concept.
Absolutely.
You got to be future-proof. That's how you have to think right now, right?
Yeah.
The good news about real estate, it's future-proof. People always need a place to live. But how we do it is not always future-proof.
When I was getting into this game on the investment side, because I didn't start educating until like 4 or 5 years later until I figured it out. You know what I mean? I wasn't worried about. I didn't get into this game just like you. You didn't get into this game to become an educator, a guru, whatever you want to call it, an influencer, right? A public figure. I got into this game to escape poverty, kind of like you, right? Like I'm gonna try to build a business so I can have some money and like take care of my family. But when I got into this game, there was a guy named Sean from Rock Solid Investments. He was the only guy that gave me the time. He gave me 15 minutes. He was in between meetings.
That's pretty good.
He was in between meetings.
Say, that's solid.
I hit up I didn't hit you up because I didn't hit Sean Terry up either. I used to just watch you guys' free stuff, and same thing with Nick, webinars, things like that. I didn't hit you guys up because you know how it is, man. Like we're talking 2013, 2014 here. Like everybody was hitting up you, Sean, and Nick. So I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to try that. Let me go try to find some other investor and see if they'll give me the time of the day. Someone that's not like a public figure. You know what I mean?
And he gave you 15 minutes.
He gave me 15
That's
minutes.
more than most people get.
Yeah.
All right. So what was the wisdom he dropped?
He said, I didn't even speak his language at the time. He's like, you got to have an exit strategy, right? Like, he's like, well, you're going to have to get really good at marketing. You're going to have to get really good at, talking to people and closing deals. And then you got to have an exit strategy. He kind of gave me that was his trinity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this dude talk? I have no clue what this dude's saying, right? Because I don't speak that language at that time. And then at the end, he says this. He literally he's like, gents, I got to get to my next meeting. And we're like, hey, thank you so much for your time, whatever, and he's like, no problem, man. Hey, I wish both of you the best of luck, me and Sal, right?
Yeah.
Gets up and then he comes back. He's like, oh man, I don't know how I forgot this. By the way, this is a reputation business. I didn't even know what that meant at that time.
Yeah.
He's like, this is and always will be a reputation business.
Dude, killed it. Nailed it.
And then he walked away.
Dude, that's me saying play the long game.
So I didn't understand the marketing and the acquisitions and the exit strategy, but I understood that.
Yeah.
And that has stuck with me, as you can see. You know me inside out. Like my family. You know how I operate. You know my core values. You know what I believe in. I'm old school. I'm just like you. The reputation, right? Reputation in this business, man. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff, man, that I'm like, wow, you know. And let me here before you go on, right? Because you and I come from two different backgrounds. I've seen this happen, and correct me if I'm wrong. And I personally, just like you, I love people of all races, you know, all religions, everything. I don't care. I love everybody equally. I don't look at color. I don't look at religion. I look at character. Okay? I look at intention. I feel energy, right? I've seen white folks, okay? I've seen white folks roll with white folks and become really wealthy. And you can't sit here and tell me that's not the truth. Watch this. You look at an event like, you probably don't even know who these people are, like Investor Fuel. All the white folks are there, right? And I love all the white folks. I got some of my best friends are white folks. A mentor and a best friend and a brother like you. You know, you become a mentor and a brother, and you're white. You know what I mean? And German, from what I hear, right? So I've seen Tim Bratz. Love that guy. Amazing individual. Commercial space. He just had a legacy summit. Bunch of white folks there. You know what I mean? I've seen black folks row together. Max Maxwell, Keith Everett, Brian Aregbu, Byron the Investor. They row together, right? Watch this. Then you look at the Latino community. You want to know what I see in the Latino community? Tearing each other down. We have not outgrown that bullshit, scarcity, crab in a bucket mindset. Oh man, I got to make more money than him. I got to sell more seats to my event than him. I got to sell more courses than him. I got to do more real estate deals than him. I got to have more clout than him. I got to have more influence than him. I've seen the way that you and the group that you have brought me into roll. I'm telling you, I've learned more in the past year since you've been bringing me around than I've learned about business and the way that people like collaboration over competition. The way that you and Cole,
which by the way,
Wagner,
Carlos is speaking at Thrive this year. If you have an opportunity, I cannot wait to hear your talk.
You know I'm taking it pretty serious. I got a presentation going.
I know it's going to be fire.
Yeah.
I know you're really putting a lot into it.
Thank you.
Thrive is the best entrepreneur event in the game.
Absolutely. It's a dream. For me, it's a dream.
The lineup of speakers is ridiculous. Look at it at attendthrive.com and then use 100 off, 100 OFF if you want my discount code for $100 off. But like, look at that lineup. Carlos, you look good on that flyer.
Thank you, brother.
You've worked over these years. I've watched you kind of grow. And every time I've given you any game, you've always applied it. I love that.
Always.
You're a fast action taker. You and Sal are like the real deal when it comes to taking action. But seeing you at the Thrive stage and the vendor stages, seeing you grow your own event, Freedom, humongous. I was so impressed. I walked in there, 850 people in the room. I'm like, dude, he's playing the game now.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Because, dude, nobody was doing big events in the real estate space. Dean was, I was.
Yeah.
Fortune Builders.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there wasn't a lot of people putting 1,000+ people in a room.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see that. But Thrive is big. You
gave me my
lineup.
first. You gave me my first big opportunity. And by the way, guys, Thrive. Like, if you haven't got your seats, hit me up. I got so many people around me close that are going their inner circle. So if you want to be part of the inner circle, DM me. Okay, DM me the word Thrive.
Andy Frisella's keynoting. Jesse Itzler, Jim Quick,
Tim Grover, Sean Whalen. The list goes on and on. And Cody, Cole, myself,
a lot of women too, a lot of ladies,
a lot of women. We need more ladies.
Jeanette May, Sonia Hatter,
yep,
Jamie Cross. Like some of these ladies are powerful.
I told my
women.
personal development coach, I said, hey, you know, when I'm not, this is the only event that I'm actually going to go to, and when I'm not speaking, I'm going to be just like this,
hanging out.
I'm going to be just like this. What does Andy have to say? You know what I mean? Right? I never heard Andy Frisella speak on stage.
Oh, man, he's my favorite. Him and Sean Whalen and Jim Quick. I love listening to them talk. The way they roll is just so good.
They're playing
But
at a
the
different
reason,
level.
look, it took me a decade to break into some of these circles. I served my way all the way into the biggest, best entrepreneur circles.
Absolutely.
what I've discovered is that there are levels of successful people that once you get to that level, it is so refreshing to be around people that are so supportive. They're all so secure and successful in their own rights. They're all doing multiple things. They want nothing more than to see you win. And that love forces you to step up. Like you look at that, it's so inspiring that you're like, you leave that interaction like, dude, I got to be a better friend. I got to be a better husband. I got to be a better business person. I got to step my game up. It wasn't always like that. Even in the white people thing, you know, like I know you said like the Mexicans, we're kind of tearing each other down. I think you could set the standard to change that. I think that's part of your calling. And you told me that on day one, that you really wanted to help your community elevate on a lot of different
unite
levels.
and elevate.
Yeah, I love that. But it's in all the communities, dude. They're doing it in every group.
I think it's at the lower level though.
Well, it's because we don't know. We don't know. You know, most of us aren't taught to be successful, and success isn't a money position. It's not a material position. It's a mindset shift, and that's what people don't understand. It's a way of life. It's not your level.
Yeah.
And the problem is, as you're starting to make more and more money, all those fears and childhood bullshit traumas and everything's coming up and out, and you haven't had time to clear it yet.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's subconscious.
Yeah.
You know, we see somebody doing better than us and we recede and we get hard on ourselves and it comes out in a toxic way.
It's awful.
It's awful. But I went through it. You went through it. I hated on some guru at some point. Trust me.
Yeah.
I just didn't have social media and a camera pointing at me.
There's people hating on me now. I'm the guru that people are hating on.
I just wasn't dumb enough to do it standing in front of an event.
I'm very transparent. You know that, right?
People were texting me, dude, Carlos said this and this.
Here.
I'm like, you know what? Good.
Yeah.
Good. It reminds me that
I'm super transparent, and I think you love that about me.
I like that people are hating on you. That means you're doing something.
Well, and then they see they see who I'm with and what I'm doing, and they want a piece of that, right? They want a piece of that, and I can tell you this, you know, like there's people that have called me, and they're like, hey man, how can I do this, and how can I do that? How can I get on that stage? And I'm like, hey man, you know what I mean? Like, no, that's not the way this works, man. You have to serve your way.
Everybody wants to come with the red carpet, front door.
Boom.
I know.
Right? You got to serve your way there.
Yeah. It's all right. They'll get there. If they want it bad enough, they'll get there too.
And they'll make the right moves.
What's cool is the doors are open.
Yeah.
It's not what you think. You know, we are protective of our relationships, and I think you'll be that way too. But it's there for you.
Bro, it helped. What helped me out a lot was me passing my first test. You know, the first test, you gave me a test. You may not told me, and I didn't know that you were giving me a test, but when you put me on Thrive, Virtual Thrive in October of 2020, right? The biggest, man, I'm telling you, like, I remember the phone call. You ready to play with the big boys? You ready to step up to the big leagues, right? And I was like, what is going on? Hey, man, I'm going to get you in. Let's see what you got. And I was like, you know, it's kind of like that prospect that's kind of working his way up through like the minor leagues, right?
We all had to do it.
And then I show up, you know, and I push it, I show up. And then before I leave, you know, that was the biggest blessing ever. Like Cole stand up. He's like, hey man, come here. And I was like, oh shit, what is this dude? You know, I thought he was going to like take a shit on me or something. Yeah. Right. He's like, hey man, I just want to let you know that, you know, Cody looked out for you. And, you know, I never put anybody on this stage unless I know who they are and what they're about. He's like, but I'll tell you what, he's like, he undersold you. I was like, I left that event with so much confidence.
I had to feel good.
I left that event where now
and Cole's he's like a hardcore crusty old sailor. Like that's how he rolls around. He's
yeah.
The fact that he said that means it's coming from a real place with him, because he doesn't just dish out compliments, and that's because before the event, we were all part of a private text group, and you were playing full out in the group on display, and people
what
in the private text group.
Yeah.
You know how I roll in those text groups.
Yeah, you go crazy. You go nuts.
I set
you put standards.
Yeah, I set a standard. And these are, you know.
I wasn't in that text group.
You were in a text
Not the
group.
Thrive. I was in the Avengers text group.
Oh, that's right. You were in the Avengers text. Same thing.
Okay.
Same thing. I'm just pushing.
But you had a Thrive text group, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Thrive text group. But I was talking about all the things that you were doing.
Oh,
and it was on full display. So
thanks, man.
People appreciate that.
Thank you. Well, back to now the way that you roll, right? Which is my next question is, what other things do you have
What
going
is that
on?
thing? That thing's fancy.
This is cool, right? It's called a Remarkable, actually, and it's all digital. It keeps me very organized.
And you literally just flip through your pages, but there's not actual pages?
No, it's super cool. I got to put you on.
Yeah, that's slick.
Right? So what other things do you have going on? Because listen, for everybody out there, by the way, who's been joining into this hot seat, I have personally seen what you're doing in real estate, who you're doing it with, the ridiculous projects that you have going on. They're a little even out of my league, and I have I just sold a property for $1.7 million, and you're doing things that are out of my league, and I'm over here selling a $1.7 million project, which, by the way, you know how I haven't, when we get into the game, remember when we got into the game, we got checks, right? We want to show off the checks, right? Yep. It's been all wires for like a few years for me now, but
you got a check?
This is going to be a check.
Yeah.
Because it's six figures, you know, it's I think it's like 700 something thousand it turned out to be. So I'm definitely going to put that check.
That's big money.
And the HUD, and I'm going to go in front of Chase, and I'm going to bring a Lamborghini. I'm just joking. I'm not doing all that. But what other things, man, do you have going on? I know you got a lot going on with real estate.
I've been
and
lucky,
education.
man. I've been through a lot of evolutions of my real estate businesses.
Yeah.
My thing that I realized very early on is you have to master the art of leverage. So I always was really good at finding very talented people that maybe had the heart, the ambition, but not the skill set yet, and putting them in my bus, putting them in the right seat of my bus, and then coaching them up and showing them how to win the game.
Okay.
And so I've been through different evolutions of my real estate. First, it was just all wholesaling, and then it was some wholesaling and a little rehabbing and that kind of stuff. And while I built my little rental portfolio, and then I sold all my rentals. I didn't want to do rentals, and I was making a lot of money in the education business. I was still wholesaling a lot, and you know some of these people that have come through my operation. You know that I've
you've touched, whether people want to admit it or not, right? Because this is something that I didn't admit back then, right? I'm gunning for him. I'm not going to tell people that I was on Periscope, right? So you've impacted and touched, I would say, just about everybody in the space. You know, it's like, think about it.
I'm not saying this to have like, you know, like look at me or how great I am, but you're even if you never have heard of me, the dude teaching you
has heard of you
heard of me or mirrored everything that I've done. They've learned through my marketing, because I was a pioneer on all of the most aggressive funnels and all that stuff. And I'm not taking the credit for it. I had a great team.
Yeah,
that was my thing. That's what I was getting at. I learned how to leverage other people and get them. And this is our vision, and this is how we're going to get alignment. And alignment equals velocity. So let's go. And that's why we were able to scale faster and better than everybody else and build a better brand and a better operation. Then Clever started. I started having a lot of challenges with Clever in 2016. So I was pulling back my real estate business, and Clever was having some issues. So
but you had one of your biggest years around that time.
But like
8-figure plus.
Oh yeah, no, we did 20 million.
I remember that year.
We were killing it, but I felt the change happening. And as an entrepreneur, it's weird because when your whole trajectory is like this, and you're going up, and then you feel the hemorrhaging starting. The way it's like a balloon, right? Well, when the balloon's really small and it has a bunch of holes in it, it's not escaping. You don't notice it, but as the balloon blows up and up and up, those holes get bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, here's me plugging holes in this balloon, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to winning. I'm not used to playing defense. I was offense.
No.
And so I had to shift a lot of my love and energy away from real estate to save Clever in what we were doing.
Yeah.
And that was because my business was I bought a lot of traffic from Facebook, and Facebook was changing, and Donald Trump got elected, and then the analytical scandal broke out, and then Facebook's ads started changing. I was spending $4 million a year on ads.
Yeah.
I was the largest advertiser by far in the space.
That year you hit 20, how much money did you spend on marketing?
Oh, I don't know. 8, 10. 8 probably.
Yep.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Now, just Facebook. You know, so I mean, it was a lot.
You love to spend money on marketing. Cole told me.
I do.
Yeah.
I have very strong.
You're very aggressive.
I'm very aggressive, but I lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
I lose a lot of money. And most people, like when my students are like, dude, I spent $3,000 on direct mail and I didn't get a single call. I'm like, call me when you hit 25,000.
Yeah.
Right? Like, call me back.
Yeah.
Like, $2,000-$3,000, no shit.
Yeah.
You
Especially direct mail.
Direct mail, you got to touch them like 10 times before you even get like any traction. But for me, I was always spending a lot of money, and so I pivoted away from the real estate thing, and my wholesaling business went from doing a bunch of deals to maybe doing like 4 or 5 deals a month, 7 deals a month. Like, it was just kind of coasting.
And that's when people like me were like, he's not doing deals.
Well, this was I slowed it down in 2017.
Okay.
I
started calling you out in 2017 and 18.
2017, I slowed it down. Now, at the time, I was still doing big rehabs, though. I was still putting $1 million plus $2 million out at a time on real estate.
Yeah.
I just wasn't wholesaling, like grinding like all the other wholesalers. And I was, consistently doing 4 to 7 deals a month just on autopilot. And then I would have these massive rehabs going on, these spec builds.
Which you still do.
Where I'd make $1 million, like on a deal. So I was kind of like, whatever, talk shit.
Yeah.
I don't care. I was trying to save clever.
Who was gunning for you that you know besides me?
I don't really know who was gunning for me. Nobody did it in front of me.
No.
I'll tell you that.
No.
Everybody was very nice to me when we were just
around
hanging out.
you.
Yeah, when we were hanging out. I never had anybody disrespect me in any way. It was actually always the opposite. I would know they would talk shit, and then they get around me. And
the first time I got around you, I actually apologized. So.
Yeah, but I was good with the apology. Most of them just fanboy out, and they never apologize. And I'm like, dude, I know you talk shit.
Oh.
But now you're nice. At least be real.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
I got really lucky. My best friend Bryant sold his T-shirt business. My other best friend Garrett, who owns 2 Buffalo Wild Wings in town, they came to me 3.5 years ago and said, hey, Cody, we've been watching you make your millions in real estate. Bryant's like, I'm retired from the T-shirt business. I really want to get into real estate. And I tried to get him in years earlier, but he wouldn't listen to anything I say. He's such a hard head.
He is.
So finally, he's like, I'm ready. I said, cool. And they go, we want to be wholesalers. And I'm like, pump the brakes. We are not. We're
not going back.
We're 3 old ass men. We are not going to wholesaling.
Yeah.
Like, we could do wholesaling. We need to build. We need to be a builder, and we need to actually create something.
Yep.
And because of Cole Hatter and what you'll learn at Thrive, which is how do you make your millions matter? Like, that's what it's all about. When you make money, you realize none of it matters until what you're doing with the money matters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, look, let's start a business development company. Let's call it Green Elephant Development. And it's going to be a for-purpose business. A portion of every house renovation or build that we do, a portion of the profits will go towards animal conservation. So now there's a give back component. I'm very passionate about helping kids and helping animals. And it's either, whales or ocean life or elephants for me.
Yes, sir.
And so we found a couple amazing charities that we support elephant conservation in Africa and Asia. And we just started donating money to them. And how we raised the money was we would build a house or renovate a house, and then that house would tell a story. And so whenever somebody buys a property from us, they get this book. And it's kind of the story of their property and their elephant that they're sponsoring.
That's amazing.
And we build with green building materials. And so Green Elephant Development was born. So we partnered up. Bryant, I said, you go get your real estate license. Garrett, you go get your general contractor's license. And we're going to be 3 old guys building houses for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did that, and we focused on rehabbing for the first year. I think we did like 17 rehabs our first year together. Yeah. I put up a bunch of the money to get it going. That was my contribution. And all the coaching. I said they all have to go through all my training.
Yep.
And then we started wholesaling along with that, and we've been doubling every single year. This year, I currently have right at this moment, I just checked yesterday, I have 17 full-fledged rehabs going.
Mm-hmm.
I have 5 brand new multi-million-dollar spec builds in Arcadia. If you go down the streets in Arcadia, it's great because we just got all our banners and our signs up. You see Green Elephant everywhere.
Yeah.
We're starting to get a lot of good reputation and branding and calls from the neighborhood saying, will you do my renovation? Will you build my house? Will you, so it's starting to grow as a company. We're wholesaling about a house a day, house every other day. We just did one of our largest wholesale deals yesterday. A friend of mine brought us a deal, and we co-wholesaled it.
What was it at?
We sold it in Paradise Valley.
Okay.
He kind of said, we're going to keep marketing it, and you market it. And it was like they got it under contract for like $1.4 million or something in PV. And he said, I don't think you're going to be able to sell it, but let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
We sold it in 15 minutes. We had 5 buyers. As soon as we hit the blast, within 15 minutes, 5 buyers, we sold it for $165.
So you made like two something?
Well, we were into it for 1.4.
Four?
Here's the actual. Here, I'll give you the actual numbers because 1.6. We sold it for 1.6. We got it for 1.435.
Got it.
So
6-figure deal.
yeah, no,
Love it.
and the partner that brought us the deal, we're going to
15 minutes, 6
we're
figures.
going to give them a little bit more than half.
For sure.
I think we're going to do a 60-40 split on that one.
Beautiful.
But I don't know, what is that? What's 40% of that?
A lot of money.
Yeah, it's
A
more
lot
than,
of
more
money.
than 50K.
More than I used to make a year at one point.
Not a bad 15 minutes worth of
No,
work.
it's
So
not.
yeah, we're still doing deals. I don't go around, I'm the largest wholesaler. Like you can say that. I can't.
I don't even want to say that.
Well,
care.
I mean, you guys were at scale. You guys were spending millions. We're not doing that. I'm lucky now that I have enough of a relationship capital and reputation that we get a lot of deals.
You got a bunch of other verticals that I've seen you work on the real estate side, where people are bringing you guys deals. Like
we leverage a lot of the JV
your
stuff.
meetups, your monthly meetups. You know, so it's beautiful.
But look, I'm learning from guys like you. I'm learning from I learned from a lot of the people that are killing. Like I didn't know what a Novation was.
Yeah, Corey Geary.
Yeah, he came to my office and modeled it all out, and I'm like, this
Novation
is
Nation.
freaking brilliant, man!
Yeah.
What a great tool. So it's a pursuit of knowledge, is a pursuit of excellence.
Love it.
I just keep trying to learn from it because at this point, I'm passing the torch. I'm kind of fading out of the education side of the business.
You told me. You
Yeah.
told me. And brings me to my next question: is 3 to 5 years. What is
I'm
going
focused
on?
Right now. I'm focused on Thrive, attendthrive.com.
Yep.
I'm just gonna keep saying that.
No, they
come to Vegas and party with Sperber.
I've been blasting it everywhere, and I'm blasting it through email today. So
let's go. 100 off is
Attend Thrive, guys. This is an in-person event in Las Vegas, Nevada. Man, oh man, like I'm telling you, I'm going to be, I'm a speaker, but I'm also a student. You got guys there that are 8 and 9-figure earners consistently, not just today or tomorrow, right? Like these guys have been earning 9 figures for 10 plus years. Do you not think I can learn something from these guys? I'm going to be in the front row somewhere or in the backstage, but I am going to want to learn off Jim Quick and Jesse Etzler and Andy Frisella and Tim Grover, who trained guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade and wrote the book Relentless, right? So
you ever
I'm
heard John,
excited.
my partner in OSNAP, speak? John
Malott?
Malott?
No, never.
Oh, he's one of the best.
He's good?
I think that he's a sleeper. I think he's going to be one of the fan favorites of the event. Yeah. For me, continuing to grow the real estate business, I'm making way more money in real estate than I do in education.
Yeah. And it's easier.
Well, yeah. Oh, and it's
Real estate's so much easier,
fun.
less stressful.
So much more fun.
Yeah.
If I didn't have such a passion for teaching, there's no way I would do real estate educate. It is so difficult.
It is.
To stay relevant, to stay fresh, you have to constantly come with new offers, new products. People are never like.
It's a rat race.
They don't appreciate.
It's a rat
the
race.
hard work that you have to put in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But OSNAP, I launched that supplement company. It's a network marketing supplement company. We're basically taking old school network marketing in the supplement space, which if you think about, this is my quick soapbox. If you think about what's happening in the world today with the economy shutting down and just the health of the nation, both spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, we're in war, and there's 2 things fighting against us heavy on the health side. Sugar is one of them, right? It's like, and then just being obese. And people are dying of obesity all the time. Like it's a pandemic, and we're not really talking about it. So then you lock us in a room, or you restrict us financially, and like bombard us with negative news, and like just our health goes right out the window. And next thing you know, you're emotionally unhealthy, and you're fighting a war.
For sure.
So what we decided to do was create a supplement company using a revolutionary delivery vehicle called a Snap Pack to give people nutrition in a snap, liquid nutrition that doesn't have any sugar in it. It's kind of naturopath approved.
I've had some. They're delicious.
Yeah. We got 4 different products, and people can make money with our products. And that, I've never owned a network marketing company, but I'm very passionate about taking old school network marketing and blending it with the new school.
And with health.
Well, think about what I do. I'm a direct response marketer. I build funnels that are automated and scalable.
No.
And then once those funnels are built, then my teams can drive a massive amount of traffic and they convert for them. So you don't have to be a world-class marketer. If you're on my OSNAP team, I'll be the world-class marketer for you and help you make money from my funnels. And so we built all the social assets and all the free plus shipping and handling offers and just everything. And people are starting to make money, which is we're only 6 months old. And, people are starting to make, $1,000, $2,000 checks, $3,000.
Yeah.
So we're just getting going. Yeah. There will be a moment in time where people are making $100,000 checks.
Like Herbalife. Right?
That's the vision, is to help people in where they can work from home, work from anywhere, and have a stable supplemental that could become significant income side hustle that doesn't have to be worked that hard. Yeah. Right? It's like it doesn't have to be a full-time gig. You can have another job or do your real estate business and have your little supplement business on the side. So that's OSNAP, and those are the things I'm most excited for.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you this because I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. And let me just clarify what I'm trying to say. I consider myself a pretty healthy person now. I consider myself an ambitious person, a pretty driven person. But I couldn't do what you do. You are always. Here we go. Where are you going this weekend?
I run 2 high-level masterminds, and one of them is called 100 Million Mastermind Experience. We have 100 members. They all paid $100,000. Mm-hmm. We have our Beverly Hills event.
What do you guys? What crazy stuff are you guys pulling off at that mastermind?
Dude, you gave me money, joined Avengers, and never showed up one time. Yeah. That's my other mastermind. That's my real estate mastermind. Yeah. I called him up. He said, I got you. I think he just paid me just you weren't even you.
I was honestly just supporting you.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
I was just supporting you.
That relationship, those relationships that you'll meet there are world class. Some of the best in the world. But 100 Mil is our entrepreneur version of that. And we bring in big celebrities. I can't tell you. You gotta either watch my social or you got to be in the room. Just know we've had everybody from the Kardashians to Mark Wahlberg
Magic
to
Johnson,
Magic Johnson to Shaq to
Lil
Tyga,
Wayne,
Lil Wayne, 2 Chainz, who's my favorite. 2 Chainz came out. I threw my panties up on stage because I was like, fucking 2 Chainz.
I remember. You were
excited.
You were dressed like a cowboy, I think, that day.
No, that was for Wiz Khalifa.
Okay.
Me and Wiz.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we were having fun. But we had Emmett Smith. We rent stadiums. We do wild stuff with cool people. But that's just, I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Every weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
I speak, or I'm throwing an event, or I'm part of something. Thrive.
Yeah.
It's coming up November 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In person, Vegas, by the way.
You know how I do it?
How?
Team. I have a phenomenal team. It is just great people. Most people are scared to hire great people.
Yeah.
They have all these, I don't know why, they're scared to stretch and pay for great people. You want to step your entrepreneur game up, cut a check, hire a CFO that you can't afford. Right?
And watch what happens.
And watch what happens to your money game.
Yeah.
Hire a marketer that you can't afford and watch how many leads you get. It's just look, if you want to do it the hard way, don't hire B players, and then they all look at you for the solution, and now you're carrying the weight of the whole thing on your back. You want to be a real entrepreneur, pay for great people, and never stop hiring.
Yeah.
Like we are running ads nonstop.
Yeah.
For our businesses, and always trying to bring in the best of the best. And guess what? Everybody else that's sitting there, they know that I'm always hiring.
Yep.
And I still love you. If you get off my bus, I still love you.
Yep.
And everybody who's gotten off my bus has gone off to do great things.
Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of them.
There's been a lot of them, and I'm very proud that that's my legacy.
That you impacted
whether they're appreciative
or not.
Yeah. I'm not trying to focus on that. I'm just trying to be a real entrepreneur that actually has. I want to be able to be an entrepreneur that has entrepreneurs all in alignment. So that's how I do it. Plus testosterone. I just keep injecting myself with test, and I walk around with the boner all day.
Oh my God. Once or twice a
I'm
week.
fired
I'm
up,
injecting,
Carlos.
yeah.
Let's go.
I don't want to see what's going on under that table, but let's talk about this. Speaking of boners and testosterone, family.
Yes.
You know what?
good
Right? Yeah.
transition.
Right? Yeah.
Perfect.
Family. You know, you have a beautiful, amazing wife.
Mm-hmm.
I took her Kundalini class.
It was not a Kundalini
It
class.
It was.
It was a breath work class.
That was.
She is certified in breath work.
Okay.
Like a certain type of breath work.
Well, there
It's
was
gangster,
about
huh?
30 people there, and there was some people releasing all kinds of stuff, and
Yeah.
they had to bring me back. And then it's funny because I think one of the coaches that was there was like, "You're an entrepreneur, aren't you?" Because they're like, "Yeah, you guys always fall asleep."
You
Right.
went deep.
I went deep. I
You went
left.
deep.
I
Yeah.
left. They had hello, right? They're like, "Bring me back," and I get up, and everybody's in their little yoga pose, like I've been sleeping for like an hour, and they've been doing something else, right? So that was a little embarrassing, but that's okay.
They said you shared well and you played full out. Are you going to do it again?
Absolutely. She's having one in December. I told her to move it to a Wednesday instead of a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to get more people. And I'm going to bring about, minimum 10, 15 people with me. So I had a great experience and I can't wait to do it again. But back to your family. That's your wife, right? And then you got your son and you got your daughter. How do you, because this has been one of my biggest struggles. I'm really early in the entrepreneur game, how do you do it, man? How do you keep them as a number one priority, and how do you let
This is
them
a perfect
know?
way to end this podcast, by the way. I love this.
Thank you. How do you let them know, like, hey, I know Dad has all this, and I'm serving the entire world, but you guys are my number one priority, and I love you, and I want to give you guys the best of me, not the rest of me, right? So how do you manage to do that?
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm not the guy who should write the book on this, but I have done certain things in my relationship that's worked out really well that I think I could share. First and foremost, one of the first earliest things I did as an entrepreneur is I hired my wife an assistant, full-time executive assistant for my wife. That was one of the power moves because, when you understand love languages and you do not meet expectations with your wife or your husband, that friction is going to bleed into your businesses and everything else in your life that you're doing. And so I don't want her to be pissed at me when she says, "Will you stop by the store and pick up milk?" No, bitch, I ain't going to the store and getting milk. I'm trying to make tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's what you say inside.
Yeah, you're like, my
but
time's
you're not going to
worth
say that to your wife. So you're like, "Honey, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get this damn milk today. But tomorrow, I'm hiring your ass an assistant. And she's going to get the milk. And she's going to get everything else and clean the house and do everything else that you ever wanted her to do. And I will sacrifice and I'll create the money to give you this person in your life because I know I'm neglecting you because I'm over here building empires."
Yep.
So I know that's important to you. So I'm going to make that happen. And once I did that, it freed me up. And now she has time to go to yoga for 1 hour and refresh herself and get her shit straight. And she's not like stressing out about chores and work.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was number one. Number two, we take a lot of vacations. So, I think that's another part of it. We take a lot of vacations.
I've seen it.
And try to travel a lot and give the kids lots of experiences. I lately, that you brought up the breath work, I am encouraging her to have her own identity. I'm helping her start her own thing and her own
She's
tribe
doing
and
well.
her own bit, and she's doing it,
She's
and
doing
it's
great,
really
yeah.
inspiring, and I love seeing her do that.
Grow.
The other thing is there's no such thing as balance. I understand that. I know I have a lot of responsibility. She knows I have a lot of responsibility. So when I pull into my garage every day, you will see me sitting there for about 5 minutes before I get out of the car. And I download the day real fast in my brain. All the stress, the challenges, the curveballs, the hurdles, the good stuff, all of it. And I do whatever I'm going to do on my phone. But the second I park that car and I get out of it, my job stays in that car in the garage. And I come into the house and I am like, "That smells amazing. You look beautiful. This is great. Hi, kids." And I'm very present.
Yep.
And I think that's the problem with most entrepreneurs is they don't get present with their significant other. And that was a muscle you have to build. And
Absolutely.
so for a little psychological hack is just pretend you're parking it in the garage. So that way when you come in, now you shifting your presence because the balance isn't going to work. There's going to be moments where like shit hits the fan. I got to address it. But she feels heard. She feels loved. I know her love. I know what kind of love language
You're there. You're part of the family.
And I'm present while I'm there. So that's it. And it's not going to be perfect. And yeah.
I love it. I love it, man.
It works. It's worked for 17 years.
Yeah. And everybody will find their own way, right? As long as they try. If they try to make it work, it's going to work because you and I both know 50, 60%, I don't know what the percentage of divorce rates is with entrepreneurs, but it's a pretty big, large divorce rate. And a lot of it has to do with lack of communication, neglecting the family, you know what I mean? Prioritizing.
I think the thing with me and Shan is she's my best friend.
No.
That's the undertone foundation of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've told me that.
Yeah. And dude, it's work.
Love is work. Yeah, but you guys
just as much as building a business.
You have put in the effort, and she has put in the effort to become, not just a married
more
couple.
now than ever.
Yeah.
When you get to the 17-year mark, you really got to put it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, brother.
Dude, thanks for having me on.
Man, anything else besides any other announcements? Obviously, Thrive. Guys, get to Thrive. Go to attendthrive.com. Use the coupon code 100OFF, and you need to get there because it is the #1 rated entrepreneur event, 5 years running. You got the top of people that are on top of their game in their respective industries. They're going to be there. This isn't one of those, no disrespect to anybody throwing events out there. No, this isn't one of your mom and pop shops type of events. This is the best of the best.
Yeah.
This is the best of the best. So you need to get there. Any other announcements?
Dude, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, brother.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're impacting a lot of people.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you for taking me under your wing the way that you have. You know what I mean? I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude, I'm a fan.
Thank you, brother. I'm a fan too.
Let's keep it going.
All right. Thank you.
What, do you have a sign off? I have a sign off.
Yeah, let's do your sign off. Ready?
All right. This
has been episode 10 with the All In Entrepreneurs podcast.
This has been episode 10 with the All In Entrepreneurs podcast. I'm Cody Sperber here with Carlos Reyes. We're out of here. Take care. Comb your hair. We out.